I think this is really good. Bloody hell. 250. I'm not helping. I'll go for this bit. Whoa. I've changed the speed limit. That did nothing. I couldn't find a wire. How about if I was to change the the bike thinks we're going 4.5 miles an hour. 24. This is the Cyrusher Rumble. Because if there was something Cyrusher needed in their range, it was another drop frame, fat tyre e-bike. This one is a bit cheaper than the Ovia that we had on the channel before and the Komoda that you might have seen, but instead of rear suspension like the Komoda, this one's got a much bigger battery. So, what's it like? Hello, yes, this is the Cyrusher Rumble, and I'm about to steal someone's phone. There. Right, I'm not really. You right? Don't crash. That's right. And that's my mate James. Anyway, that's quite funny. Anyway, let me tell you about this bike. So, it's another drop frame, chunky, fat tyre e-bike from Cyrusher. But this time, it's a bit cheaper than the others, not quite as chunky, but still chunky, and they've gone fully legal. No throttle in the box. It's all for the UK, the EU. They don't want us to get into any sort of trouble. They say 250 watts, limited, in brackets. But then again, on the website they said the bike is capable of getting 25 miles per hour. So, mixed messages. Right now, it's limited to 15.5. I'm going 16. But, this being a Cyrusher, and that motor at the back being a bit of a beefy fellow, you can tell just by riding it, it's way better than that. Right, we had the bumpy bit with front suspension, no rear suspension, no spring saddle. Feels really good actually. I think being really high, I don't want to go for that one. I'll go for this bit. Whoa. Yeah, it's really comfortable. The saddle's really nice. The fat tyres are just soaking it all up because they only pump up to 20 psi, which is quite soft. Front suspension, which is lockable, which I'm happy to see. They haven't skimped out really. It's got some good stuff, this bike. The nice colour screen. A lot of them, I mean most of them have colour screens these days. It's got hydraulic brakes. It's got 7-speed Shimano Tawny, which isn't a selling point. That's like the minimum basically if you've got gears. They're not that well adjusted. They're very easy to adjust. And if I were to tell you that they were well adjusted, that's not to say that yours would be. Whoa! Big long, I think this road's got worse, you know. But it feels absolutely comfortable. It is limited, and I couldn't find a way to unlimit it. Putting the speed up in the computer did nothing. I couldn't find like a little wire to unclip anywhere. There's no sort of obvious boxes. There's a section in the battery mount. It's got a mounted battery, which is very easy to slide off. In fact, let me just show you the battery really quick just before we do the hill climb. It does have a bit of an issue. Now the battery is removable, however, well, you just turn it like that. It doesn't have a collapsible saddle, the ones that tilt forward. So when you pull it out, there's no like handle to hold it on, so it can be quite difficult to get it out. So you can push it from the bottom, and yeah, it comes out, so it's great. Nice clearance. However, it can be a bit fiddly getting it back in. Remembering which bracket to slide it through. Now, if you are a bit shorter and you have the seat down there, I don't know why I bothered putting that up, and you want to take it off, then you run into a bit of difficulty because it doesn't quite get past the seat. It's not a massive issue because you can raise the saddle, but I just like the convenience of that lift up saddle on those, and you can just pull it out because it's got a handle on it. So it is a bit awkward. However, compared to like a folding e-bike where the battery's inside, it's still way faster to remove this battery. So even though you don't need a key to run this bike, at least if you're going to leave it somewhere and you're worried that people are going to mess with it or steal it and have the battery, you can easily take the battery out. It's just that if the saddle's down here, it does take a teensy bit longer. 65 Newton meters of torque, but this bike has a little secret. 3, 2, 1, go. I've got no throttle, so it hasn't kicked in. Cadence sensor, so it took a while. So it lost a bit of time there. Right, are we going? 13.9, 14, 14.3. Are we going to hit the limiter? If we hit the limiter, I might have to do it again, and I'll tell you why in a second. Remember, I'm not helping. I'm just ghost pedaling, but it's going very well. I think it's meant to be a 500 watt motor. It looks bigger than that though to me. I think this is really good. Bloody hell. 250. I'm not helping. I'm just going around. I've got to go around because it's a cadence sensor. Otherwise the power will cut out. It does have a thing at the front that you could put a throttle in. So if you did want to source the throttle, they're only like £10 off Amazon. Just plug that in, go. But don't forget, they are illegal, throttles are at the moment. Unless you spend loads and loads of money on that bike. Pedibal. And across the line.
And the Cyrusher Rumble completed Sandy Lane in 1 minute and 5 seconds. That's faster than the 1000 watt Engine Pro and the 1200 watt Engine Pro 2 and the Cyrusher Ovia's time of 1 minute 9 seconds when it was limited. And it beat the Jasian X Hunter, which is meant to be 1400 watts. That's crazy.
In this limited form, that was extremely impressive. I didn't get over 15.5 though, so unlimiting it wouldn't make a difference, I don't think. So let's just let's poke it into gear 7 and see what we can get to. Like I said, them gears, you can hear them clicking, they're not well adjusted. They're easy to adjust, you just turn some screws. But you know, I don't think you should have to do that. I think they should come well adjusted. Right, so we're going 20, but at the moment, because the motor's cut out, it's all my own steam. Oh, it's quite good actually. Go a bit quicker. Oh, 24. It's not bad. They'll think I'm a hooligan. At the end of this ride, I am going to tell you how to get some speed, some extra speed out of this bike. Now, because I have got a cadence sensor, it takes a while to kick in this one, so go. It's not yet, not yet. Half a rotation. Okay, there we go. It took half a rotation, which isn't much in terms of rotations, but because I was in gear 7, it took a while, and that was probably a good 3 seconds. Hello. I'm going to put it into gear 1, see how long it takes down. Of course I can see behind me because I've got a Pidzoom rear view mirror on my helmet. Right, you ready? Okay, off you go, and oh god, you know what? That cut in quite well, however, the chain has come off. Right, it's back now. Yeah, these gears have not been adjusted very well at all. And I can see there's a dent on the chain guard, despite the packing. Let's have a quick look at the packing though and see how it went together.
The box was a box and was packed pretty well. To assemble, you had to put the handlebars on, the saddle, the pedals, the front mudguard, though we had 2 minor issues.
Ooh, it's bent. They didn't actually supply a spanner for this end. That one is mine.
The wheel on, and good news. Do you hear that? Exactly. That's what you want.
In the toolkit there are pedals, a pump, the manual, the best tools, ball end Allen keys, there, balls on the end, and a 3 amp charger.
It's a funny one this, because it's not a foldable bike, although it kind of is. The handlebars fold down like this, so you just release the catch and then just bring it down. I find if you have more than one bike, when you're moving them past each other, the handlebars hit each other, so that can kind of help with that, but that's about it really. Shout out to our Scottish viewer, if he's watching this video, that I often say take on public transport, and in Scotland you're not allowed to take anything on public transport. Well, you can take your stuff, you can't take a bike, but here, even though you can take bikes on public transport in England, you wouldn't want to take this one because it is a beefy bike. At 32 kilograms, and there's not really a good place to pick it up. Oh, that feels good. This is a bike you want to drive around places, and it does have the battery equipped to do that. So it is a 48 volt battery, which is good. It is an 18 amp hour capacity, and when you multiply those two numbers together, you get 864 watt hours of capacity, which is pretty good. And they reckon you'll get a range of 58 miles, but that would be 58 very slow miles where you're doing most of the work. Well, we'll talk about the range at the end, how much you actually probably would get. It's a bit whiny, the motor. I don't really mind that, but you know, it's nice to have a refined, quiet motor. No cars coming, 16. Right, in the wet though, this tree. Oh, there we go. That was pretty good. That is the tree. We're only going 15.5, well, 16 miles an hour. As expected. Hydraulic disc brakes with 180mm discs, which are pretty big discs for an e-bike. Well done, not bad. Of course, the tyres are very chunky, help you go off-road and for all those bumps. But on the road and in the rain, they don't tend to have the most grip. So if you are planning on racing this around and limiting it at 25 to 30 miles an hour, be careful. But I'm really liking this bike. Lowest position, probably about 5'2" or something like that. You'd be on your toes probably. I'm 5'9". Highest position, oh, I'm not sure I can get on this. Whoa, blooming heck. I think this might be the highest bike ever. I'm on the stand. It's got a chunky stand, by the way. Whoa, I can't even reach the floor. That's crazy. Whoa, I think the website says 6'2". I reckon Hulk Hogan could go on this. 6'8", I'm gonna say. It's a tidy bike, unlike your standard fat tyre folders where all the wires are like zip tied to the base of the bike. This one, all the wires go into the body of the bike. And it's all tidily put together. I can see the welds, which I don't mind. They look fairly tidy. I'm no welder, so I'm not going to do the usual e-bike YouTuber. Welds look great, yeah, welds. I'm a welding expert. Front and rear lights, wired in. The rear light is a brake light, and the front light is pretty decent. Helps you be seen, but nothing spectacular. Oh, my fingers are freezing. Does have a nice buzzer. It's quite loud, that is. The hand grips feel quite nice, but I always prefer the ones with the flared bits on. It's not a massive big deal, but I do prefer those other ones. I really like this rack. I like the way it's almost like a double decker. The way the support is down there and it's raised high, so you've got a bit of clearance. I quite like that, and it's sturdy as well. You could take it off, however, the mudguard is attached to it, so without that the mudguard would flap about, and also the rear brake lights on it as well. Now, wheel diameter was originally set to 24 inches, and it was actually overestimating the speed. So when it was stopping at 15.5 miles an hour, we weren't actually going that fast. We were going about 14 miles an hour. Now, many people may or may not know that even though all these bikes, they say 20-inch fat tyres, the actual diameter from tread to tread through the middle is more like 22. So when I set it to 22, suddenly we were going faster and the speed was accurate. So then I thought, okay, I've changed the speed limit. That did nothing. I couldn't find a wire. How about if I was to change the wheel diameter? So let's select wheel diameter and let's take it down to, that's green. Take it down to 16. That'll do. Right, what's going to happen now? The bike thinks the diameter of the wheels is less. So the bike thinks the circumference of the wheels is also less. So that means for every rotation of the wheel, the bike thinks that we're covering less ground because we have a smaller, I'm just going to go for it, circumference. So because it thinks we're covering less ground, it thinks we're going slower as well. So the bike will say, oh, we're not going fast enough, we need to turn the wheels faster. So therefore, I am going to hopefully now be going much more. than 16 miles an hour. Even though the speedo is cutting out now and saying 16 miles an hour. Obviously by doing this, you no longer get an accurate speed reading and you will run down the battery sooner. This bike really does kick in quick. I mean strong, not quick. But when it does kick in, it feels strong. I like it. Let's just have a quick look. I've got my GPS going. Right, 26 miles an hour then I went. Not bad. If I was going 26 miles an hour, what happens if I just say the wheels are 2 inches? Will that do it as well? Let's have a look. How low can you go? 6-inch wheels. I'm gonna stop at 5 inches. 5-inch wheels. 19, 20, 21. This is no power from me. 22, 23, 24. To be fair, I was trying earlier. 25. I've only got access to one brake, so I'm gonna have to stop. The bike thinks we're going 4.5 miles an hour. Right, thinks I've got 12-inch wheels. This is, you know, like if someone, I get stopped and, do you have any idea how fast you were going then? Yes, officer, 4.3 miles per hour. I'm going 11, 12. If it reaches 15.5, then it means it's got more to give. But we're stopped at 13.2. So in terms of that, it's done. So now I'm just gonna push it a bit quicker. So because it still wants to get to 15.5, it does give you a bit of help. Whereas if it were to cut out, then it wouldn't. Oh yeah. 29 miles an hour. That's hilarious. So basically it's a standard legal e-bike, no throttle, 15.5 miles an hour. However, if you wanted to go a bit faster, you can very easily just decrease the diameter of the wheel in the computer. And the great thing is, you'll be going a bit faster, but if someone were to test the speed, as people might, let's see how fast that goes, it will say 15.5 miles an hour. That is that's a funny one, and I don't think you should do it. I've done nearly 7 miles. We haven't lost a bar of battery. I am going to carry on riding it because I'm going to do all my filming and stuff like that. So let's cut to the future and see what kind of mileage we got at the end.
At the end of testing, we'd covered just over 15 miles and the battery had lost just 1 bar. Now, I don't believe that every one of the 5 bars is worth 15 miles. However, the battery didn't seem to suffer from voltage sag, and the performance after 15 miles was indistinguishable from the performance when fully charged. Locked at 15.5 miles per hour and on a warm day, unlike this one, and with a lighter rider, unlike this one, I do think you could get close to that 58-mile range. But remember, if you change the wheel size to get more speed, 1, the battery won't last as long, and 2, the bike will underreport the mileage.
So all in all, I'm impressed. And the most impressive thing about this is Cyrusher aren't generally considered a cheap budget brand. They're like one of the more expensive budget brands. And this for $999 is bloody good. That's if you are interested in getting it, I'll put a link in the description. Maybe we'll even have a discount code, but I think it's reduced to $999 at the moment, so it might not work. But at $999, even without any discount extra, very good deal. So yeah, there'll be a link down below. If you are interested in checking this out, do use that link please, because it will help out the channel a lot. We'll get a bit of commission, and it won't cost you anything extra. And you'll just go to the same website that you would have normally. So I'd appreciate that if you did. And if you enjoyed this bike, through its little secrets, I'd love a thumbs up on the video, it helps a lot. But if you didn't, and you're kind of upset by anything, well, firstly, thanks for still being here, because that helps a lot. But feel free to give us a thumbs down. So that was the Cyrusher Rumble, and this has been the e-VRC. And until next time, ride safe.